here to show you this anthology that I have contributed to. It's called Beyond the Beach, and it is a book of conversations on the ocean and the ocean economy in the Caribbean. So, in fact, um, oh, Lori, I'm so happy you're here because I don't know if you're actually seeing me in landscape or portrait. Can you tell me? I'm just doing a test experiment on doing this live. Just type in the chat if you can hear me and if hi friend. Are you seeing me in portrait or landscape? Oh no, you've turned sideways. Oh, flip. Mm. My okay. This thing only allows me to oh okay, hold on. I don't know. What do I know? What do I know? Bear with me. Bear with me, my love. Okay. Okay. We have it sorted out. Gosh. No, we're good. Thank you so much for coming on, Lori. You've saved me because I wasn't really sure how this is gonna work. And I quickly learned that this device that I have in front of me, this camera holder, can actually hold in portrait. Thank you. That's Lori saving the day. And Lori, so I was just here because I wanted to. There's this anthology that has been printed, and I'm one of the contributors. So I wanted to come on and share a little bit because I've decided I want to just share more on Substack and with my Substack community and just test this all out. So anyway, I'm published as a contributor to this, and I just wanted to give you a little look through while I look through it because it was posted since October. It arrived at the post office in October. But the way my post office works locally, I would have to go to the village post office, get a slip of paper, and then go to the public post office and get it. But I don't go to the village post office very often, and not many people actually support the post office, which really sucks. And it used to be like a really nice community gathering where people actually go and chat and catch up and get their post. But I don't really get much post, so send me post, guys. I should really be sending people post as well. But this came in a post, and I was able to pick it up today, and I want to go through it with you and find my bits. So first of all, it was written by and produced by Clish Gittins and Dr. Crystal Drakes, and they're from Barbados. And actually, I don't know what you call this, but you know the bit where people give oh God, I'm not even so much into the book community. But when people give their feedback on a book, there is a name for this. So Mia Motley, which is the president of Barbados, commented and said, Beyond the Beach is a timely and powerful anthology that amplifies the voices of those whose realities reflect Barbados' deep connection to the ocean as a cornerstone of sustainable living. I believe collections like Beyond the Beach are simply vital. We love her. Mia Motley is currently the chairperson of the Caribbean community. A review, that's right. Mia Motley gave a review. And love her. She's a phenomenal advocate for the environment here and one of the most fantastic prime ministers the Caribbean has ever seen, I would say. She gets things done. And she's also the chairperson for the Caribbean community, CARICOM. So that's really a big deal. Some other people have given reviews. And anyway, let's go through it. So I'm going to rip it open. I'm going to rip it open. I'm going to put a link in my next newsletter to where this is available because you could actually buy it online. And it's like a coffee table book, you can see. So it's quite nice. And Klish is a really good photographer, so I'm pretty sure that the photos in this are really delightful, where he has contributed to the aesthetics of the book. And it was edited by Dr. Drakes, and sort of part funded by Export Barbados. So, so yeah, if you're interested in doing work in collaboration with Barbados, in the environment, these are some of the people you should know and get involved with. And so there's endorsements in the front page again from Mia Motley, and she goes in with a bit more detail. And also Professor Winston Moore, who is a professor of economics and uh, deputy principal for UWI, the University of the West Indies, Cayville campus, which is located on Barbados. And Mia Motley actually goes on and says, uh, as small and developing states continue to disproportionately face the harsh impacts of climate crisis, I believe collections like Beyond the Beach are simply vital. Through its moving stories and imagery, it calls on readers to truly engage with concepts of marine protection and sustainability while encouraging us to own our stories, share our truth, and rethink the narrative around ocean preservation for future generations. This is so in line with a meeting I had this morning. You missed the session I had this morning, but I came on because I was sort of sharing about my political past in that I ran for political office in 2019. And so I was having meetings around policy related things today. And basically, one of the things that really came home to even me as I was saying it was who tells the story, who collects data, who tells the story, how that story is told is also important. And all of us has a responsibility to tell our own stories, whichever way we want to tell them, however we want to collect the data, we must do that for ourselves. And I really believe in that. And so even though, I'm not really going to write a book, in the full sense, I'm really trying to share fragments of stories. And so that's why I'm going to do more lives. They might be solo lives, unless I could do wonderful lives with people like Laurie, then that's cool too. But anyway, let's go back into the book. I digress. And so you can see on the first page here, there is a really cool photo of the fishing community in Barbados. And so it has the contributors. Oh my God, there I am as a contributor. Can you see me? I'm the last one. I'm the last one. And let me see if I recognize anybody else. I don't know many other people. Oh, I know Nick Hurley. Nick Hurley is a good sort of he is into storytelling through visual storytelling, so really good vlogger, editor, video editor, and things like this. Shelley-Ann Cox is on here. Shelley-Ann Cox is the Chief Fisheries Officer for Barbados, and she's also a dear friend and a phenomenal scientist and woman leading ocean management. And they've got some interviewees here, which I don't know, different photographers. Nick Hurley is one of the photographers in here. And so, yeah, some nice photographs. There you can see Kish, and you can see Dr. Drake's, awesome. And yeah, so it starts with, I guess this is a really nice photo of Barbados. Some quotes from Kish and Laura and Drake's. And then more really cool pictures of the marine environment and the people in it. It talks a little bit about the ocean economy. And the ocean economy really is basically how do we use the ocean without using it up, right? So how do we use the ocean without causing damage? And at the same time, creating new jobs and opportunities for people. It's basically what the blue economy really means. And so yeah, Barbados has a surfing community. And so you can see some cool photos. And there's a quote here. So this is if you've been to Barbados, which I haven't, and I would really love to go. So this is Bathsheba Beach, which I think is one of the cool places, like a tourist attraction in Barbados. If you're into, um, you know, the more charismatic beaches, I think this looks like one of those. So you haven't? I haven't either. I really want to go. And so I was supposed to go actually this year to do some work there as a training there, but it never happened. Maybe next year. And so, yeah, you can see all like the coastal culture going on here. Oh my God, I'm so close to the sun. You're kidding me. So I'm like the first. No way. No way. Let me see. Whose piece is before mine? Klish Gittins actually has a piece. And then I am the first piece. Wow. I didn't expect that. Oh, I tell you, I wrote this thing in such a rush because they were wanting to have these pieces um, in within like 4 weeks. And I just really got getting into a flow of writing. I wasn't really writing very often, so it was a struggle for me. It was hard. And I wasn't even sure if I had edited it properly or completed it properly, but I just got it in. And then they said they had some hiccups and they weren't going to be able to publish it. It took like a year and a half to get this published. And I thought I had forgotten about it. So yeah, so Just Blue Economy is my piece. And the subheading is Putting Grassroots Communities in the Driving Seat of the Caribbean Blue Economy. And there we are. There I am doing my ocean research. Oh, you know, I'm on a boat. That picture doesn't even look real, but it's real. It's real. I think they've done some kind of editing in the background though, because I'm actually floating on the water there instead of actually sitting on the boat, but the boat is on the but it should have been. Sadly, this vessel has went missing at sea just last summer. Uh, yeah. So, but I'm here, and the quote that was taken out and put on the first page is how to truly empower the poor and marginalized for blue economy. I'm making it up. Sorry, how to truly empower the poor and marginalized for blue prosperity. Investment in sea safety, ocean, and climate literacy. Such an interesting thing, so touching, and it's brought back to me, like, talking about investments in sea safety. At the same time, I'm telling you, I'm on a boat that last year disappeared at sea. Boy, it just goes to show, like, even when it comes to the ocean environment, ocean conservation, it looks cool and it's sexy at times and it's fun, but it's also a space that safety is so important and goes hand in hand with so many different things. So, and yeah, when you're talking about people who are already marginalized and don't have access to resources, it's even a bigger deal. So I think in this piece I was talking about justice, and also I was speaking about justice, and I was also speaking about um, you know spreading the wealth in the ocean economies. Yeah, it is. It can be dangerous. The space can be dangerous, and for us to be able to, looking at your work, Laurie, for us to be able to do science and to get more people involved in science and collected data and being able to share that data, then we need to make sure that people are safe at sea, that they're competent, that they can swim, that they have the equipment and the infrastructure, the docks and ports, but the boats that are fully equipped with the technology that's necessary, and that when you're going out on a research vessel, that you're pretty much sure you're going to come home, or that if anything was to go wrong, then your GPS locations and your your personal safety devices are actually intact, So, so yeah, I mean, here I am. It's a two-pager, first page, second page. There I am again. Oh my God. So, okay, so I'm gonna just read the first paragraph because, you know, I just want to read the first paragraph. It's long, so I won't be able to read the whole thing. Um, and yeah, I even want to remind myself what I actually wrote. So, deep sea mining enterprises, energy prospectors, biotechnology companies, fishing, and aquaculture interests, among others, increasingly seek to develop the marine resources of small island states and territories. This is often referred to as a blue economy or blue growth. The Caribbean Sea is increasingly viewed as a new frontier of huge potential for economic development. Terms as blue economy and blue growth summarize this new framing of our marine and coastal spaces as possessing untapped potential to be sustainably exploited. As we consider the promises of the blue foreign investors, such as global biotech firms and innovators, and when I say that, like biotech firms, is like maybe some of you might have heard, but in the ocean, some of the marine mammals have special features. They're like, the special features where they can actually heal themselves, they can create new organs and stuff like this. So some uh, pieces of coral, for example, are used in science research around curing cancer. Some marine animals, like say sea cucumbers, are used in makeup and uh, skin treatments, perfumes, even. And so when we're talking about biotechnology, we're often speaking about some of the things like that as well. And so yeah, there's a lot of investments around this space that is being explored, and the Caribbean is also in that conversation because we are small islands with big ocean spaces. So as we consider the promises of these blue foreign investors, such as global biotech firms and innovators, to help us rethink tourism and improve food security and create improved livelihoods and access to decent wages, it is often not communicated that substantial risk can arise, not just for our environment, but also for our local communities. So how do we ensure that the benefits of the blue economy stay at home? Putting grassroots Caribbean people in the driving seat to shape and thrive from these opportunities is necessary for us in the region. And I say grassroots people because if you really want to spread the wealth to people who need it the most, then some of those grassroots individuals need to be on board in a position to really benefit and not just taking the menial small jobs, but really getting new skills, upskilled. When I talk about dreaming, like really dreaming their way into these fields that are blue economy fields, innovation fields, and so on, and really believing that these things could happen and being supported with the policy space and infrastructure and all the things that are necessary. Like what I said, the sea safety, the ocean literacy, all the things, access to the education, and so on. That makes this a reality. So, so yeah, how do we ensure that the benefits of the blue economy stay at home as well? Like with tourism, most of the places in the Caribbean that are facilitating tourists, for example, on the coastal beaches, etc., are predominantly large international investment companies. And so the money that is being made on the island for your tourism dollar, I don't know what the percentage is, but very little of this percentage stays home. A lot of it goes back out to foreign accounts. And so tourism hasn't necessarily done the Caribbean as much good as we would have liked. I think it's time for us to rethink that. And so putting grassroots people in the driver's seat to shape and thrive from these new economies is necessary for us in the region. And yeah, so that's so interesting. And it's so interesting, like, 3 years ago, 2 years ago when I wrote this, for us that, I'm still working the same things in different ways. I don't think I'm going to go back out to the deep sea to do deep work, but I'm quite interested in, keeping people aware, educated, and telling the stories, sharing the data, and finding new ways of sharing that data. And yeah, so that's my first paragraph. Um, I think I'm going to read one more paragraph. Let me just read one more paragraph. And so you may wonder how to truly empower the poor and marginalized for blue prosperity. Investment in sea safety, ocean and climate literacy, providing access to low cost ocean tech, and most importantly, supporting the Caribbean's young innovators and entrepreneurs with the space and finance they need to optimize the potential of emerging blue economy sectors that are regenerative. So creating larger biomass and climate resilience in the environment and equitable, just, fair, and equal is an important thing. So such sectors may include blue tourism, which is a sector I sort of work in, arts and culture, coastal resilience, regenerative foods. I have a friend that just graduated with her PhD, and she is doing really cool work actually in regenerative foods. So I don't know if you've ever had conch, um, you know, conch and things like this. She is making this in a lab. So making uh engineering engineering seafood so that we can reduce the pressure on some of the natural food in its natural habitat and yeah, hopefully make it taste as good, if not better. So yeah, so she's doing really cool work in Bahamas. If you want to research her name is Vanessa Haley Benjamin. And she is Bahamian doing some cool stuff. And so yeah, I pause to share that because sometimes I'm not sure how many people are aware of all these really fast moving innovations that are happening in the ocean space. And so yeah, so carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas removal is another one. So there's ways that we're thinking about capturing carbon and sinking it to the bottom of the ocean. And some of that work is being trialed now, even here in the Caribbean. Pollution detection, removal, and alternatives. Um, yeah, so pollution detection, removal of the pollution, and also alternatives, to some of our uh, to some of our, I could have written this better actually because removal and alternatives to what I meant alternatives to things like plastic and can and glass, for example. So yeah, like a fishery. You're with me still. Good, thank you. um and so yeah, ocean data and innovations, these are all sectors that we can try to redesign in a more equitable way that all people, everyone, no matter your background, no matter your access to education and so on, there should be ways and means that we can create opportunities for people in this way. And so yeah, that's my second paragraph. I thought it was part of the second paragraph, but it finishes there. So I'm going to go on to the page where I thought the second paragraph actually finished because I'm finding this will be interesting to just read and remind myself. And there are many brilliant Caribbean scientists, researchers, and innovators doing the forever work of ocean advocacy, education, research, policy making, and business development. I would argue that they care the most for their blue backyard. They are more than passionate about the future of the islands and coastal heritage. They are connected to it. Of course, this region is our home and our children's birthright. The sea is our legacy. For centuries, Caribbean people have suffered social and environmental injustices, and there is now that window of opportunity in which international NGOs, global brands, and academia can work more collaboratively for a blue economy that is just, first, and foremost. The risk of social and environmental injustice from blue growth are insufficiently recognized by those advocating for sustainable growth and development in the oceans. Many civil society organizations, most notably the World Forum Fisher People, the International Collective in Support of Fisher Folk, and the Transnational Institute, are sounding the alarm that ocean grabbing and blue justice issues that are occurring as a result of the development in the oceans. And I've quoted some authors in that space. So yeah, researchers have some researchers were doing work in that space. So researchers have also been documenting environmental and social injustices incurring as a result of ocean-based development activities, including industrial fisheries, aquaculture, oil and gas development, and blue carbon markets. The rapid global development of cruise industry has also raised environmental justice concerns, highlighting most recently with the Cayman Islands say no to cruise port facility that was proposed in the Georgetown Harbor. So yeah, like, oh my God, interestingly, because, I've been talking about dreams and big dreams. As I go on to say, our youth have big dreams around their future. They advocate for the needs of space and resources, healthy seas and coastal areas for their innovative ideas to flourish and in enjoyment of their birthright. But too often they're overlooked and unsupported by their own governments, NGOs, and investors. As social justice has become such a trending topic with the rise of the Black Lives Matter, ocean conservation groups all want to amplify Black voices, but these Black voices do the necessary work, but largely under-resourced work, still don't have access to the power, wealth, or resources to sustain themselves and scale their initiatives. Oh my God, is that so true or not? Until this becomes a reality, there can be no equitable or just blue economy for the people of the Caribbean. Their struggle has now worsened so much in this global economic crisis that we run the real risk of losing best local talent, of aspiring and practicing conservationists from Team Ocean, and risk losing them completely as they go in search of a better standard of living and quality of life, higher salaries, access to advanced technology, and more stable political conditions in different places. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yes, so true, so good. And this is my piece in Beyond the Beach. So, yeah, there's more to read. I'm thinking you should get the book, and I'm gonna quickly. There's bits here where people are talking about seine fishing, which is like a cultural and traditional heritage type of fishing. Even more photographs, which are pretty cool. And somebody's talking about the call for blue education, so ocean education. Yes, making sure that the ocean is being taught in schools and part of the school curriculum. And art. There's a section on art. So the artist amongst us. Art, along with the artist, tends to develop and change and go through puberty over and over and over again. And so that was written by somebody um, as well. So somebody's talking about climate change and the future of our village. So there's some really good articles in here. Somebody's talking about how we leverage our bio environment and our oceanic environment. There's poetry. Somebody has a poem here. Annette Nias, who is a consultant, producer, event planner, writer, and poet. So that's pretty cool. More photos, more oceany photographs of the fisheries sector in Barbados. People having a good time at sunset on the jet ski. And lovely horses having a cool off in the ocean, which I always love to see. That's a really nice drone shot, actually, with the horses and people taking them for a bath. It looks like guests as well with them. Horse riding used to be a thing in Barbados. So we could see that if you're into horse riding. My granny, bless her soul, was really into horse riding. She would have loved to have seen this. I was never able to take her to the races in the UK, but as I reflect back on her life, I realized how much she loved that. And yeah, so there's some pretty cool stuff here. Again, the surfing community in Barbados gets another shout out. And uh, somebody says tourism is great, but when we lose the essence of why tourists come here, we will be in big trouble. My aim is to create a beach culture where everyone can enjoy any aspect of culture and people come to have an experience. And I agree with that. I think the problem with some islands like Barbados is that it's maybe too fast developing, and so there is a lot of concern that people may get separated from the true essence of the culture and people who are Bayesian. And yeah, that could happen. Like, I don't know how many times you've been to the Caribbean islands and some of the really major resorts, like right next to in St. Kitts, there's a big Marriott, and Marriott is so huge that you can get lost in Marriott and not even get out to the beach strip. That's how I felt anyway. Maybe I've just become too small islandified. My friend is Sardigna is a great one to connect with around sustainability. I would love to connect with her. So yeah, a lot of my work is around sustainability, and so I'm trying to merge sustainability and storytelling and ocean science and conservation. I guess you know, that's how I live and work. And part of my work at the moment, which I have been a little quiet on, but I should be more active on. I think sometimes the challenge is that I'm in such a small island that did you see that egret fly by? What a moment. What a moment. I'm so happy to be living on an island this small and this pristine and untouched by major tourism and commercialism, but at the same time, it's hard to make a living and to be, sustainable and resilient in this space because of the fact that we're small. We have small economies of scale. So even little business opportunities and projects that would work well and be funded well in other islands because you have numbers of people, you have a thriving private sector, don't work so well in Montserrat. So our only lifeline is either collaborations with government who are obviously strapped or international partnerships. So and I guess that's part of the reason why I spend so much time building and working within my, international community. So yeah, one of the things I do is looking at plastic assessments, and I can help any country, any place assess its plastic um, supply chain and find sustainable solutions, source them, and help to get them a blue badge as well, so that they can be globally recognized as being a sustainable operation, sustainable business, sustainable project, event, whatever. Um, Corona Beer does a good job in sustainability, and are also they also have a blue seal through the company Oceanic Global, and I'm a blue consultant for that works with Oceanic Global. So yeah, you have the egrets. I know, right? There's been three feeding in the yard, and can you see the puppy in the background? Stops. I have to watch them, otherwise you just get walking off. And this my property is not gated, so I've got four puppies, and they just aren't disciplined. Pray for me. So yeah, the there's a free diver here. You know, there's a free diver here as well. And what stands out to me is the amount of black and brown faces I'm seeing here, because often we don't see. I mean, I haven't grown up seeing as many black and brown faces in conservation in the ocean space besides fishermen. And so you're seeing this wide variety: surfers, free divers, people doing art, people, taking photos, diving, doing yoga. I mean, so people here talking about. I mean, I'm really impressed by that. I know you're teaching yoga. Um, I know you're teaching yoga, Lori, but my God, am I impressed by some of the people that do yoga on the beaches. Like randomly, I was at the clubhouse one day and I saw this woman and her partner. So sweet. They had this cutest, most adorable little kids. Like, it can't be more than 5. So they're running in and out of the water. And the woman and her husband, I'm assuming it was a husband or a partner or a friend, I don't know. But they were doing some stunts, man. Like the two of them alone were doing all of these movements. And I was just like, oh my God, like how incredible. I wish I had that flexibility. I have a lot of work to do to regain that. But so yes, you have to go now. Love you so much, Laurie. Always so good to see you. And I'm also seeing Margaret here. So Margaret, hello. I'm so happy you joined. I was just talking a little bit about the Anthology, this book that I've contributed to. It's from Barbados, and it's sharing stories of people who have been working in the environment. Love you more, Laurie. Thank you so much for saving me and getting this whole thing right today. And so I'm one of the contributors to this. And so I was just going through the book. I read a couple of, I think about 3 paragraphs out of it. And yeah, and so has some really great pictures. It's been reviewed and commented and endorsed by Mia Motley, who we think is a fantastic regional leader, not just for the Caribbean community, but Barbados too. And yeah, so you can see, like, I'm one of the first. The authors are Gittins and Crystal Drakes, Dr. Crystal Drakes. And as soon as you get through the preface with the co-author, there I am with my section called Just Blue Economy. Oh my God. I can't believe that I'm so close to the front. And I was saying that I hadn't even prepared it as well as I wanted to, because I was asked to write this 2 years ago and I wrote it in a hurry because the deadline was like 4 weeks. And like it had to be delayed, the production of the book, about a year and a half, and then it's finally come out and I just received my post. It's been on Ireland since October, but I just gotten it today. And here I am again, talking about the ocean economy, and I'm talking about it through the lens of the grassroots community and what justice and equity and sharing the wealth really looks like when we use our ocean without using it up, and we create new skills and jobs and things like that. So it's a really awesome book. Has some good quotes. It has some cool people in it. There's some really awesome pictures. It's a nice coffee table book. It even covers everything from politics to ocean art, poetry, and even food, right? The culinary. How can you think about the ocean and not think about the culinary, tasty foods of the Caribbean region? So that's really nice. And I love the book because it's really sharing our cultural history, our maritime history as a Caribbean people. And yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a piece here. And actually, what I've done is there's a piece here, an interview with a boat builder. And, just for my own Substack recently, I have a cousin, like a second cousin in my community here who makes boats and builds boats from wood and wooden boats. So I went to interview him. I have some clips from that conversation, and I need to go back and focus more on the boat building side because we got carried away in long conversations about different things. But yeah, it's good to see that the boat builder story is actually in this book as well. Yeah, man. So lots of cool photos. Barbados fisheries and fisheries sector especially, is featured heavily in this book. And there's a number of really fantastic contributors. Yeah. Some of these quotes are also very good, like hearing people's personal thoughts about their reflections about relationship to the ocean. Somebody said, I realized how desperately I needed to go to the water, to cry to the water, to put salt water back into the water, to talk to the water and to sing to the water. Yeah, man. People have such a close relationship, often undocumented and unspoken, when it comes to the ocean here in the Caribbean. And so it's really good to see a book like this out. And I will share a link in my next newsletter on how you can actually purchase one. It's a nice little coffee table book. I'm in there. And yeah, I go back to saying that it really matters that we share our stories. We have to tell our stories. We do it afraid if we have to do it afraid. We start where we are with what we've got. And I'm really about telling my story. I will continue to do so. Maybe it's just a matter of having a check-in on a live, sharing what's happening in my days, because I am on a very remote island in many ways, because it's only a small airplane craft into this island. And I correct myself from this morning. It's not 300 US to get here. It's 300 EC dollars. So about 92 US return. out of Antigua and Barbuda's VC Bird International Airport. So that's the closest island to us. And there is no ferry at the moment, but there is a ferry coming on board in January that will be here for 6 months. It just costs a heck of a lot of money to have a ferry for just 3,500 people. So we have our challenges. But I'm here. I'm continuing to do the work that I love around the ocean. It is tough and challenging in many ways, so I really appreciate your support. I hope you will get behind me and help to share my Substack and my work. And I look forward to sharing and collaborating in different ways with you as well. Tonight is Starlight Night here on Montserrat, November 5th. It is now 5:42 p.m. And my son's friend is coming over at 6 o'clock, and we're going to be making tacos and doing fireworks. Maybe I'll take some photos if I'm not too tired. So I've done 2 lives today. I have a tough meeting and I'm tired. Um, I've not eaten healthy today. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. Stay blessed. Check out Beyond the Beach, and I will post more about my story. Maybe I'll try and copy and paste it into is that okay? I don't know. That's fine. I can copy and paste it into a newsletter as well. So you get to see if even you don't get to get the whole book. So, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. I'm over and out until next time. Ciao.